Hello, everybody. Today I'm back again with another poem. This time the poem is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Before I recite the poem, a few lines about the poet. Robert Frost, born in San Francisco, California in the year 1874, was a 20th century pastoral poet from rural New England. His earlier works were published in the UK in the 1910s. But he quickly rose to become the most widely read and often widely acclaimed poet in his own country, the USA. Frost won the Pulitzer Prize 4 times. This poem, The Road Not Taken, is one of his most famous works. Now that we know a bit about the poet, I'll recite the poem. And the poem, The Road Not Taken, goes like this. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling these with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I too the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. That's the end of the poem. And now, time for discussion. So we can see that the theme of the poem revolves around the complexity of making decisions and the inevitability of living with their consequences. It urges us, the readers, to be thoughtful, as every choice shapes our future, and some opportunities once lost are irreversible. The poem serves as a metaphor for life's uncertainties and the courage required to forge one's own path. And now, we will discuss this stanza-wise. So in the first stanza, the poem begins with the poet encountering a junction of two roads in a yellow wood, now symbolizing a life decision. Now he regrets being unable to explore both paths as a single traveler, and stand there in the junction for a long time, observing one path as far as he can see. However, the path bends and disappears in the undergrowth, representing the uncertainty of the future. Moving on to stanza 2, here the poet chooses the other path, which appears equally appealing but seems less worn and inviting due to its grassy appearance. However, as he walks further, he realizes both paths are equally worn by previous travelers. This stanza highlights how initial perceptions of choices may not reflect reality. In the next stanza, it is described that on that particular morning, both paths look fresh, as both of them are covered with untrodden leaves. The poet then decides to keep the first path for another day, but acknowledges his doubts of ever returning to it, as one choice often leads to another. This reflects the irreversible nature of decisions taken in our lives. Now, the last stanza. Here, the poem concludes with Robert Frost imagining himself in the future, recounting his decision with a sigh. He reflects that taking the less traveled path has significantly influenced his life, though the nature of this impact, positive or regretful, remains ambiguous. So this final stanza emphasizes the profound impact of choices on one's journey of life. Now to conclude the poem, Beautiful highlights the importance of taking decisions or making choices in our lives. It acts as a reminder for us to choose wisely, as any choice we make in our life has a potential to define our future. And this is something we should always keep in mind. I hope you liked this beautiful poem by Robert Frost. That's all for now. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.